Hi guys, it's Random Chaos here. Today I'm going to be giving you a nice review of the new FrSky Q X7. The FrSky Taranis Q X7 is the latest remote from FrSky. What you get in the box right now is simply the transmitter, your standard FrSky neck strap, and this piece here that allows you to easily balance the remote on the neck strap depending on how heavy the battery is that you have in it, or if you have an FPV screen attached to it. Much like the Taranis X9D, you have two pots up here, one with a center detent and one that is a nice loose turn. You are missing a few switches compared to the Taranis X9D. On the Q X7, you have two short 3-positions on the front, two long 3-position switches, then you have one 2-position switch on the left shoulder and one momentary switch on the right shoulder. You have fairly standard trim controls here. They have a nice feel to them and are easy to get to while flying. As you can see here, the menu layout is different. On the Taranis, you have 3 main buttons for menu, page, and exit, and then you have 4 buttons, I believe, over here on the right hand side to change values. On the Q X7, you have a center menu button, a top page button, and a bottom exit button. On the right hand side, you have a rotary dial that allows you to navigate and change settings. Whenever you press that rotary dial down, that's the same as if you press enter. I like this layout. It works a little bit better in my opinion than the Taranis X9D. Instead of a standard sliding power switch, you have a power button. You press it once to turn the remote on.
This thing's made out of cheese, but check out the LED!
Once it's turned on, in order to turn it off, you have to hold the button down for at least 4 seconds. As you can tell, the design of this remote is quite a bit different than your standard designs. It feels a little bit wider and definitely shorter in height. It also has more of an edgy feel instead of rounded corners. They were apparently looking towards Star Wars for the look and feel of this transmitter, and to me, it does definitely look something like Star Wars. This remote is made out of plastic, but it doesn't feel like cheap plastic like what you would get with a tiny toy drone off of Amazon. The gimbals feel good and solid, and are fully adjustable through springs. On the back of the remote, you can see these gray grip pads. These are super comfortable and work great if you're a thumb flyer. It has an expansion port that fits your standard JR modules. This should allow you to fly anything that you really want to, such as Spectrum or even those cheap little toys off of Amazon. The battery on the back originally came with this 6AA pack. It is just friction fit though, so it just pops right out and you can fit any kind of battery you want as long as it has a 2-cell balanced lead connector on it. For me, I am currently running a lithium-ion 3400 mAh pack that I built myself. On the website, it claims that you can use a 3S battery, which I believe is possible voltage-wise, but a 3S battery does not come with a 2S balance lead, so it's impossible to plug in without making modifications. The carry handle on the back is very sturdy, and it's pretty standard. This should allow for any attachment such as an FPV screen or even a stand to hold your remote up. On the bottom is a standard micro SD card slot, an S port which is not currently used, it doesn't even have the pins on the main board yet, and a USB port. And that is nice and neatly covered up with a rubber gasket. On the top of the remote, you can see there's a headphone port which allows you to plug in headphones so that you can hear your alerts instead of having the alerts go through the speaker. On the other side is a standard trainer port. The antenna on the top has a nice look and feel to it. The other nice thing about this antenna though is you can completely change it out. All it takes is removing the 4 screws on the back of the remote, 2 up here, and the other 2 inside the battery bay, and the back comes right off. There's no wires to disconnect and no switches will fall out. The antenna then unplugs from the board and allows you to plug in another antenna or an SMA connector, which will allow you to use any antenna you wish. The LCD display is smaller than your standard Taranis X9D display. It is a lower resolution and it also doesn't do gradient colors. It does have a nice backlight though. One thing some people will miss from the Taranis X9D versus the Q X7 will be the side sliders. There are none on this one. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're looking at this remote. The Q X7 is running the full version of OpenTX 2.2. Much like with the Taranis X9D, this gives you multiple options, including telemetry, scripts, and changing any settings you wish. It is an open source platform, which means that to me, this is a great radio for a beginner. At a $105 price point, the options that it comes with completely decimates the competition. This should make it easy for new flyers to come in, get a very nice radio that will last them a long time in this hobby without having to break the bank. If you have any questions or you would like to make any comments on this video, go ahead and leave those down below in the comments section. If you like this video and you want to see more of what I do, click that like button and go ahead and subscribe. Also, make sure to keep an eye out for any videos I do on the modifications to this radio. I am planning on at least changing out the antenna, that way I can use patch antennas or any other kind of high gain antenna.